fucking low. Nice. Perfect.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Fox, as you know, thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving if you celebrated that, and awesome Black Friday and Cyber Monday if you got some great deals on games. I was sharing them over on Twitter, so hopefully you caught some of those. In this video, I want to talk about the little tiny consoles that everybody is so hyped about. And you know, this craze that as soon as one comes out, another one is announced, there's a rumor for another one, and everybody just wants to collect them all. Yeah, I'm not happy with the quality control that's happening over there, especially at games, even though I do want to also talk about the PlayStation Classic. So yeah, listen up, let me know what you think as well. Don't forget, everything that I say, I want to hear your feedback down there in the comment section. So we all know that Nintendo did very well with their NES Classic and their SNES Classic, to the point where they were super hard to find. And at the same time, ABE'S has already been doing this for a while, but then they started upping the ante, and they're like, well, I guess we have to release more, because everybody wants retro games now, right? And everybody loves the little mini systems. So then they decided to drop, what, 6 or 7 a couple months ago. I'll put up the image so you guys can see. They released those back to back to back to back. Ridiculous. Only a few of them had pretty good, decent games, but they, as you can see in the images, they bundled them differently. So if you wanted some games that were not in that system, you would have to get another system to get some other games, and so on and so forth. But most of these were like refurbished systems that they had already the casing and everything from what, when they used to do the Sega systems, right? And speaking of which, Sega dropped them, which is leaked information, but what it seems like, it's a good thing, because Sega wasn't happy with what they were doing with the Sega Genesis that was supposed to come out this year, so they delayed it for next year. And what it seems like, they're doing it in-house or from somewhere nearby of a company they're gonna keep close tabs on while they're making that Sega System Mini. So we'll see, and obviously I'll do a future video for that. So ABE'S usually has these consoles with a whole bunch of games. They focus on Atari and Sega the most, but the games they released recently, actually the consoles they released recently, yeah, they were a mixed bag of different things. And they never have good feedback when it comes to these systems. I mean, even with the Sega Genesis that I have, clunky, the audio was super bad, and the controls were crap, right? But at the time, what was it, 2013 or something, I was like, oh, this is cool, I got 80 games, let me play some Sega games, let me play some Sonic. This is around the time where I started collecting, but I got it at a deal, and I just was disappointed, basically, is what I can say. And I still have it in my collection, but I don't play it anymore. The Nintendo, on the other hand, I would plug that in and play that again anytime. And if one day I decide to stream something on Twitch or Mixer, that would be fun. But ABE'S is really bad with their quality. They always have a really bad UI or a bad audio, clunky controls, or something like that. The last stuff that they had an issue with was the fact that in the back of the box, where they have all the games and information, and they do have the images of the games, those are the arcade version of the games. And when you get the system, when you get the console and you play it, there's a console version of the games, which weren't that great. So miscommunication, or no, not miscommunication, what you call that? False advertisement. That's what that was. False advertisement. You're letting people know this is what it looks like, but when you play it, the images don't even look the same. So that really sucks. They don't really care, so why should we buy their product? So that's my opinion on ABE'S. It's really, really bad. I don't like what they're doing with these mini consoles. And it seems like Now we're moving on to PlayStation. Now, I don't understand where they're going wrong, to be honest, because you would think they would do what Nintendo did, right? Keep it in-house, do some good stuff, drop some quality. Even if it's only 20 games and Nintendo had more, you would think that they would have some quality stuff. But what it seems like from early reviews and early images, it is not going that way either. It looks like they're going the same route that ABE'S does, half-ass emulators and clunky stuff, and it's not looking good. So I mentioned this in another video before that I wasn't happy with the PlayStation Classic. I didn't think it was worth $100 for just 20 games, and I didn't even care for all the games that they had on there, so that was a me issue, right? That was a me problem. So come to find out, they're bad emulators, right? So before I get to that, I have seen images of the UI. It's pretty bad. Crappy UI, basic stuff. They should have done a little bit more flashier, a little nicer UI for anybody that wants to look through the games, wants to read information about the games, and have like probably all the the extra art and stuff that they do, concept art. That would be awesome, but it's very basic, very bare bones. Once you click on the little small square image, you start the game. And I guess that's fine. That's a very nitpick thing to mention, but that's just like mentioning the lack of AC adapter or no analog sticks. Yeah, that really sucks. But I understand that stuff doesn't matter as long as it works well and it looks good and the games play well. But that's not the case. That's not what I'm hearing through the grapevine, the articles and the videos about this stuff. So the emulator is something that you could just pick up online and make your own Raspberry Pi with. They literally linked it up and they found the website where it came from. It's the same stuff. I don't know all the technical stuff, but if I do find the article and everything that I read about it, I will link it below for sure, as well as all this latest information that I found out. But yeah, the emulator is really bad, and specifically 9 games out of the 20 are not even the version that we're supposed to have. They're the PAL version, which runs differently, they run slower, they're very sluggish. They're the PAL version, which has 50 hertz, I believe it was, and we're supposed to have 60 hertz for the game to feel like it's exactly what you're doing on the control, exactly that's happening on the television, on the image. So that's pretty bad, especially for one game in particular, the Tekken game. That's one of the 9 games, and when you're fighting, it feels like everything's delayed, everything's slowish. And that shouldn't be. It should be exactly what you're doing, and it happens on the TV, like I said. And I don't know why they would choose 9 games to be PAL versions when they should be the US version for this system. It would be different if they have different, which is something that I heard before, that every region will have its own. But then why is the US version getting these PAL versions of the games? I don't understand it. So it seems like half-ass done work from Sony for the system. Why would they do that when they're charging $100? You would think they would give you quality stuff, but that's not the case. But yeah, that's very disappointing for me, just in general, because, well, what if this affects what Sega does? And then they're like, well, Sony did half-ass job, well, and people bought it, then we could do a half-ass job and they will buy it too. I don't want that to be. I want it to be something quality. I want them to release it and it's worth your $100 or whatever the price may be with the content that they're giving you. And I don't want every classic mini that I might have, potential interest in the future be all crap. So that's just my opinions on the matter. Like I said, I'll link whatever I can in the description if you want to check it out. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, I mean, besides the fact that there's only 20 games and maybe you're not interested in some of them, let me know what you think about this emulation stuff. Will you be able to make your own Raspberry Pi and put as many games as you want? I'm just a console gamer all the way through and through, and yeah, this is very, very disappointing. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.